Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
They would send each other like the number.
Hare Krishna, Shankaran Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances on Bhoshu Shalapapad.
Please accept my humble wisdom.
How are you, Prabhuji?
I'm good, Prabhu.
Very nice, Prabhuji, very nice to hear.
How are you and all the devotees?
Yeah, everyone is doing the Prabhuji. So recently we have a couple of families, they have some COVID positive, but rest is, I think they are recovering, almost recovered or in the recovering phase. Yeah, everyone is doing good, Prabhuji, Krishna's mercy. We are missing your physical association in Richmond.
Is this the reason you are having the virtual session today?
Prabhuji?
Are you not having the in-person session yet?
No, we are, but recently because of this COVID things, we thought of like a small break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so more devotees have kind of upsurge in COVID.
Yeah, maybe a couple of families or a few families, 3 families.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, so let's get started, Ro.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Mhm. Okay, yeah.
And let's invite Hare Krishna devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All worship Prabhupada and Gurudev. Welcome to ISKCON Richmond Saturday program. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Shankrant Prabhuji's association, and just to give a brief introduction about Prabhuji. Prabhuji is one of the very senior disciples of His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, and Prabhuji has been in ISKCON movement for more than few decades, or more than 3-4 decades. Prabhuji has been serving in ISKCON movement in several different capacities, like temple president and Bhakti devotional lead, and giving classes across the nation or internationally. And of course, innumerable things. Prabhuji has been playing in different roles and different hats in serving Prabhupada's movement. And without wasting any more time, I would like to request Prabhuji to enlighten us with his class on Krishna Katha. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
I think so. Yeah. So just started. Okay. ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, first of all, I'd like to thank all the devotees from ISKCON of Richmond, and hope and pray that Krishna bless all the devotees with better health and wisdom to actually be able to serve. This is the Pitra Paksha going on right now, okay? And there is, mixed feeling among the devotees sometimes whether we should or we shouldn't be really worrying about this. What is the devotees' responsibility? Are we really supposed to worry about, or is it considered some karma kanda that devotee shouldn't be really worrying about? One of the most significant thing is many times devotees, they tend to neglect their duties in the name of devotional service. We practice Krishna consciousness, And practicing sadhaka, our devotees are supposed to be very responsible, not neglecting their duties in any way. We see in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjun had similar proposal. He wanted to avoid his duty in the name of being Krishna conscious. The Prabhupada actually points out this, that Arjun thought that if I have to be Krishna conscious, that's where actually he begins his inquiry in the 3rd chapter. My intelligence is being bewildered by your equivocal words, Krishna. You're telling me that I should be Krishna conscious and keep durina hi avaram karma. I should keep all the abominable activities away from myself by the dint of Krishna consciousness. And again, you're telling me to fight. So Srila Prabhupada explains, Arjun wanted to use Krishna consciousness as an excuse to avoid his duty. And this is a general tendency among the devotees. And sometimes you'll find some devotees, in the name of performing duties, they just become too much sucked into the karma kanda. So, where is the line to draw? How to strike a balance between going either extreme karma kanda consciousness or completely neglecting our duties in the name of Krishna consciousness? How do devotees balance it? And what really exactly we say a balance is? So, Shamil, if you can find this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, it begins with Devarshi Bhutapta Nirnam Pitrina. Okay, and
Sure.
please display that verse. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada actually beautifully elaborates on that verse also. But this verse basically is talking about the different kinds of rina or indebtedness we have to different living entities. We are actually indebted to so many different living entities. I think we have discussed in the past as well, but just to highlight, Srimad Bhagavatam is talking about Deva, Rishi, Bhutapta, Nirnam, Pitrina, Nayam Kinkaro, Nachari Charajan, Sarvatmanaya Sharanam Sharanyam, Gato Mukundam Parityakartam. So this verse is talking about.
Prabhuji, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Prabhuji. What canto, Prabhuji?
If you just search in Google search, you'll be able to find it. Let me actually find for it. Okay, it is 11:541. Okay, yeah. So I'll just share the screen and everyone can. Okay, sure. Okay, so this verse says, Devarshi Bhutapta Nirnam Pitrina. Deva means demigods, Rishis means the sages, Bhuta means ordinary living entities, Apta means friends and relatives, Nirnam means ordinary human beings, and Pitranam is forefathers. So this verse says, O king, one who has given up all material duties and has taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, who offers shelter to all, is not indebted to demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even one's forefather who have passed away, since all such classes of living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. One who has surrendered to Lord's service has no need to serve such persons separately. Now, the most crucial principle here is Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartam. Now, a person who has taken or approached Mukunda, taken shelter of Mukunda, and Parihritya Kartam. Parihritya means to give up. Hrita is used in the sense of taking away, or Parihritya in the sense of completely giving up. And Kartam is duties. So one who has approached Mukunda, giving up all other duties, that person has no other indebtedness to all these different categories of living entities. Now, before we actually even move forward, let's try to understand how we are indebted to different living entities. Deva, for example, demigods. So if you want, you can just stop the sharing. So for example, devas, demigods. Unfortunately, in modern society, atheistic society, there is practically no mention of this universe being governed by higher beings. It is the duty of the kings or the government to teach people the reality. But unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, the governments all over the world are more or less atheist. Even if sometimes they support some religion, it's only for the purpose of voting, so that they can allure people to choose them as their leader, so that they can exploit them. But actually speaking, more or less, the government leaders are atheist. They have absolutely no clue how this universe is being governed. And people in general also train in similar way. Just imagine, the simple example, if you look at the weather channel, whenever you see some storm is coming, all they show is theory, their imaginary theory. They explain that, oh, some low pressure has developed there, and therefore the storm is forming there, and storm is moving in a particular direction, and people can evacuate, or people can actually get, away from this stormy zone. Okay. So nobody really even tries to bother about or teach how come low pressure developed in that place. You see, from scientific perspective, pure science, I'm not talking about religion or anything, any logical mind will think, okay, if I want to create the low pressure in laboratory, I need some instruments, I need some machinery, right? If I want to create a vacuum or low pressure anywhere, I need to have some scientific mechanism. So even if some low pressure developed someplace, random place, how did that happen? Even if we accept the theory is correct, yes, low pressure was developed, therefore the storm formed, who created the low pressure? It's not created anywhere and everywhere. Why it is being created in that particular place? No. And once the storm is formed, who is giving direction to the storm? You say, oh, just it's going randomly, by the direction of the wind. Even if in your home, for example, you have ducts in different places, Wherever you want the duct, the air condition and heating system to throw the air, then only it will go there. It is being channeled. If you can see, if you go above the attic, and you can look that there are so many big channels which are actually channeling the air in different places in your home. It's not going in garage, so therefore you don't have any air condition or heating system coming in garage. It's only coming in certain rooms in your home, wherever the channel has been placed. So how is it that the storm is moving in a particular direction? Somebody's channeling it. It's such a massive wind. Now, it's moving in a certain direction. There has to be some person in charge of it, guiding it. It's so unscientific and foolish to say that there is no director there. You see, the rains, for example, I live in California. The rains generally come in the month of November, December, and January, sometimes February as well. So these are the months the rain comes here. You will not see the rains in the month of May or June or July here. Every year the rain will come only December, January, February, these months. So is it something by chance that this rain is coming every scheduled time in a scheduled place? In India, for example, the rain will always come in the June, July, August, and September sometime. So how is it that the rains are coming only during that time? From a theistic perspective, doesn't make any sense. Wherever there is organization, there are people behind the organization. So universal government is governed by the devas, the demigods. Demigods are actually in charge. So we get the rainfall, we get the sunshine, we get the moonshine, we get the air. So many natural resources are being supplied to us. Then we have, the law of nature, which actually produce the food grains, the vegetables, fruits. So many demigods' cooperation goes in that. Like, one of the injunction in Vishnu Purana is one should not be plucking any leaves or fruits on the day of Amavasya. Because why? Why should not be plucking anything on the day of Amavasya? It says, Vishnu Purana says, a person becomes a pataki, or a person is responsible for killing a Brahmana. That kind of sin one acquires if he plucks even a single leaf from any tree or plant on the day of Amavasya. Why? Because Soma, the Chandrama, the moon god, comes and resides in each and every plant on the surface of earth on the day of Amavasya. He personally resides there on the day of Amavasya to nourish each and every plant and leaf, and each and every plant and trees, all the plantation on the planet. He nourishes them by entering them on the day of Amavasya. So similarly, so many subtle sciences, subtle ways the demigods actually help us to be maintained. So every time you eat a fruit, say nectarine or orange or a banana, know for sure the nectar, the rasa that is there in each and every fruit is been invested there by Soma. Soma is the moon god. He is the source of all the nectar. And he keeps pouring the nectar in different trees and plants. So all the vegetables, you see, every vegetable has a unique taste. Every fruit has a unique taste. So demigods actually bring nourishment to all of us through this vegetation. Even if somebody may say, oh, well, I eat meat. But even to eat meat, the cows and the whatever meat person may be eating, the animals need some vegetation. Like here in this country, they feed a lot of corn. The corn also has some nectar in it. The animals nourish on that nectar. And that's why you have animal flesh. A person who's able to relish the flesh of animal is only because of the mercy of Soma. There are a lot of glorifications in the Vedas of glorifying Soma, glorifying Soma, glorifying Surya, glorifying Indra, glorifying Agni. Just imagine if there is no Agni, for example, we cannot even digest food in our own body. The food that is being digested within our body is because of Agni. Food that is cooked by Agni. So, practically speaking, if the cooperation of the demigods is not there, we cannot even exist. We are so helpless. Now, Devaran, we are actually indebted to them. We're supposed to be, fulfilling our obligations to them, expressing our gratitude. Sometime in the name of, practicing devotional service, the devotees become completely insensitive to this and become ungrateful to the gifts that are being offered to all of us. Similarly, rishis, the sages. Now we have the luxury of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are actually having Srimad Bhagavatam set here, in different commentary by different Vaishnava acharyas. Who has compiled Srimad Bhagavatam? The sage, Vyasadeva. And not only the, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is compiled by the crest jewel of all the sages, Vyasadeva. It was actually the incarnation of Lord Narayan. So, Vyasadeva, he has given us the wealth of information or the wealth of scriptures without which our life would be more or less like an animal. Animals eat, they sleep, they have sex, they befriend. That's all we can do, like animals, if there are no wisdom given by the sages. And because people in the modern times are ungrateful or they don't even know the contribution of the sages in our life, that directly hampers their receiving the gift of the sages. You see, in modern times, people are becoming more and more atheistic. I remember, even sometime last week only, I was talking to one devotee. And he was so disrespectful to the sages. He was saying, oh, these sages in our, Hindu scriptures, they are so, angry nature. They're getting angry for no cause. I don't know what's wrong with them. And I was thinking, people don't even know what is the glory of all these great sages. Yes, they sometimes get angry. And sometimes they, like, Narad Muni getting angry and cursing, Mani Griva and Nalakvera. But what is the net result of that anger? The net result is Mani Griva and Nalakvera become pure devotees of the Lord. Till this day, in the heavenly planets, they sing the glories of Krishna. They enliven everyone to become Krishna conscious. So, the curse of Narad Muni actually resulted in two prominent people of heavenly planets becoming devotees and enlivening everyone in Krishna consciousness. So Manigriv and Alakuvira, they are in the heavenly planets. Till this day, they are preaching Krishna's glories to people in heavenly planets. They sing the glories of Lord Damodar. Similarly, we have, say, for example, Agastya Rishi. The scriptures are actually filled with the glories of different sages. So, Agastya Rishi, for example, Srila Prabhupada quotes many places in Chaitanya Charitamrita also from Agastya Samhita, especially the Purascharya process. Purascharya is one of the prerequisites for practicing of spirituality, or when a person is getting initiated, there is a prerequisites for that. So these prerequisites are being narrated by Agastya Rishi. For example, take a simple example. Srila Prabhupada said, okay, anyone who wants to get initiated in our Krishna consciousness movement must follow the four regulative principles, must chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, give up all the base, bad habits of tea, coffee, or, eating any undesirable foods. So this is like Purascharya. These are the prerequisites. If you want to get initiated by a bona fide guru, then you must have these prerequisites. This is called Purascharya. Similarly, we are taught if you want to worship the deity at home, okay? So if you want to worship deity, then first thing you do is you go and take bath. This much we have been told. But even before taking bath, if you have, say stomach is not clean, then taking bath, if you have some, gas or stool in the stomach and you take bath, then it's not considered clean. You're supposed to clean your stomach and then, take bath and then go and worship the deities. If a person has not evacuated properly and then he takes bath and goes on the altar, he'll be, having the gas problem. And just imagine worshipping the deity while the person is releasing the gas. It will be such an unpleasant experience for Krishna. So Purascharya has a lot of prerequisites for any spiritual activity we do. And these sages have given this Purascharya process. Sanatana Goswami, for example, has given Hari Bhakti Vilas. And what is Hari Bhakti Vilas? Nothing but the quotation from the different scriptures. Sanatana Goswami has not manufactured anything. Rupa Goswami, for example, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he has compiled different resources from different scriptures to give us Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So we are indebted to so many sages, even in our basic practice of Krishna consciousness. When people become offenders or, neglect to pay respects to the sages, then you get deprived of taking advantage of all the wisdom and all the, teachings that have been given by the sages. So a person who has disrespectful attitude toward the sages or neglectful towards the contribution that has been given by the sages, then that person will never be able to take full advantage of the sage's contribution. And you see, this is one of the reasons nowadays people suffer a lot in terms of simple health-related issues. People suffer a lot. People think now we have medical system, we have insurance, health insurance, we are safe. But I see most of the people, in spite of having health insurance and going to doctors, they have so many consistent ailments and diseases. And modern medical science is not able to help them in any way. I'll just give a simple example, in our own family, I've seen, my wife had many years ago, some pain in the hand, and we went to, it was such severe pain she was having. First, she tried some, painkillers, and it would give some temporary relief, but it went on increasing over time. We don't rush to doctors immediately, but after the pain became unbearable, in spite of taking painkillers, we went to the doctor in emergency, and in spite of taking so many tests, the doctor had absolutely no clue. And this was one of the top 10 hospitals in the United States. We went to the Wheeling Hospital, considered one of the top 10 hospitals in the United States. Of course, at that time. And the doctors had no clue. For hours and hours, they did so many different tests. And they said, everything is normal, just take painkiller. So you see, a simple pain, even medical science cannot help. And this is not just one example. And my son had urinary tract infection, and we went to the doctor, and doctor said, well, in the boy, this is not such a common thing. So she tried to give some antibiotics. He was all right. But in less than a month, again, he had the same infection. And we again went to the doctor. She said, probably you did not finish the antibiotic course. I'll give another course. So make sure that you finish everything. And we made sure that all the doses were given. He was all right. And again, less than 2 weeks' time, he again had infection. Then she said, oh, I have to refer him to some specialist. So we went to a specialist, driving almost 2 hours away from home to a specialist. And the specialist took so many x-rays on my son. In my entire life, I never had so many x-rays that x-rays were done on one day on this small boy. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the whole x-rays and all the analysis, the specialist says, well, everything is negative, everything is normal. I think everything is fine, but he's not fine. Just imagine, even the specialists cannot help. They have no clue. Why? Because society has become so neglectful to the contribution of the sages. The sages know. They know the science as received from Krishna, from Supreme Law, from the Vedas. And one who is, grateful to the sages actually gets access to that wisdom. A person who is neglectful to that contribution of the sages, even though he may read the scriptures, but he will have no access to that wisdom. He will completely overlook that part of the wisdom that's coming from the sages. So devotees are supposed to be grateful to the sages. Gratitude. Deva Rishi. Bhuta. Bhuta and Apta. Bhuta means ordinary living entities. How many times we actually really think over, like we were talking about the demigod's contribution, to the fruits and vegetables that we get. But it's not only demigod's contribution. There are so many living entities involved beside the human beings also, ordinary human beings. Nranam and Bhuta and Apta. These three are actually a very combined category. But especially Bhuta and Nranam, ordinary living entities, ordinary human beings, and other living entities. Let's try to focus on these two categories, how they actually contribute in our sustenance. You see, in our modern farming system, especially, there is such an unhealthy, approach, especially the modern farming system, completely isolates the growth, or trying to grow anything. They don't see in a holistic perspective. For example, I remember when ISKCON Chapati had bought a farmland in Dawn near Pune. This was, I'm talking about in 90s. So we had a farmhouse in Dawn near Pune. So the local villagers, they were actually giving guidance. Of course, many villagers had also adopted the unhealthy farming practices, but the healthy farming practice is where you actually are conscious of all the different living entities in your surroundings, and you take advantage of certain living entities to get rid of certain living entities which are not favorable for your farming. So they would give guidance, for example, I remember Sanat Kumar who used to share this with us because he used to live there in the farm. So he said, if you go to villages, especially in the farming, where the people actually have holistic farming, they don't use some pesticides and heavy chemicals to kill all the organisms. Then you will find many healthy practices. For example, you are giving example that most of the fields, especially the grain fields, where they are growing grains and vegetables, there you will always find they put a stick, kind of a T structure stick. Many places they would put the T kind of structure. Now, if you walk into the field, they say, why they have put so many places this, T kind of stick? One stick is like this and another stick is on top of it, nailed on top of it. So many places they put in the entire field, many acres. So they'll put a lot of places such sticks all over. So he was explaining that stick is actually kept for the owls, because in the villages generally a lot of owls, they come and sit there, or sometimes the vultures, they come and sit there. So our eagles, they come and sit on that stick. And why they need to sit there? They can sit on the trees, right? He said, because rats in the grain field and vegetables field, the rats will automatically come. That's their living space. So modern time, what you'll do, you will probably put some rat poison. They put rat poison everywhere to kill the rats. But he said, that actually implicates you in the karma, because you are feeding poison to some other living entities. Okay. But you simply put a stick around, and eagles or owls, they come there, they can sit on the tree. But from the tree, when they start flying, when they see a rat, they start flying. The rat will probably have enough time to run away and hide into the hole. So when they're sitting right in the field, they see a rat nearby, they immediately scoop on it and take him. So that was a healthy mechanism to get rid of the rats. Similarly, there are so many earthworms which actually nourish the whole land. But when you put the chemicals on the organic, the organism that is actually healthy to nourish the land is killed. I remember Roshana Swami Maharaj used to say, when I used to live in New Vrindavan, he used to give so much wisdom. He used to, imbibe. He used to say, flooding is one of the natural phenomena so highly conducive for, what do you call it? Especially farming. The farmlands, when the flood water comes in the farmland, it leaves a lot of topsoil on it. Because in the floods, what happens is the rain coming from the mountains and different places, it actually removes the topsoil from the mountains. And then it floods the lands, inland, which especially farming land. It leaves a lot of soil that it has brought from the mountains and different places. And that soil is so fertile. So flooding used to actually help so much in farming. It used to leave a lot of topsoil. You don't need so much fertilizers and all. You have such healthy soil that is left on your fields. Especially in this country, they know the value of topsoil. Topsoil is generally sold for heavy prices. And that naturally comes by the flooding. So, Bhuta, the different living entities actually help us even getting basic food. Now, ordinary human beings, let's talk about. Especially when I, drive to LA, I see in the month of, certain months of the year, so many Mexicans, they are working in the fields, harvesting the oranges, harvesting the almonds, different things that are grown in that, farmland here in California. So, yes, we simply pay money and buy, 5 pounds of almonds or 10 pounds of oranges. You simply go in the Costco and buy and come. But we have no idea how many human beings have contributed just that bag of 10 pounds of oranges to reach to you, to your desk, to your home. There are people who have planted the trees. There are people who are, irrigating the farmland on a regular basis. There are people who go for harvesting the land. There are people who are trucking and transporting the foodstuffs to different stores. There are people who are actually managing the city management, like governor and different people in the city, to make sure that all the grocery stores have all the groceries for people's need. So many people are involved. So many living entities. If there are no bees, you will have no almonds. Forget about almonds. You'll be deprived of practically any fruit or any vegetation if there are no bees. The bees are the basis of pollination. Bees and birds and so many different insects, they do pollination, and therefore we have all the fruits and vegetables. So you see, in our modern times, we have been trained, especially the society has been trained to be, completely, ungrateful, deprived of the real vision. Devrishi Bhuta Nrinam Pitrinam. The last category is Pitris, but it's also a very significant category. Family tree. In many schools, they teach this concept of family tree, to engage the children. I remember many years ago, they asked, when Priman Krishna were very young. So sometime, county people, they would work with them. So they say, okay, make a farm, make your family tree. So that time, my son asked me, okay, Papa, I want to know our family tree. Who was your father? Who's his father? Who's his father for a few generations? I didn't know that. That's the first time I started looking into. I asked my brothers, okay, tell me our family tree. Of course, I could tell him contemporary, but never knew about our family tree. So we don't even think about it. How many people say, even among our devotees here, they know the name of their great grandfather? Not talking grandfather, I'm talking about great grandfather, your grandfather's father, or your grandmother's name, or your great grandmother's name. How many really know that? It's not that knowing is compulsory or necessary or anyway helps in our Krishna consciousness, but it invokes one element that is so crucial for our Krishna consciousness, and that is the element of gratitude. That we are grateful. My existence has been dependent on so many living entities, even in my own family. And that makes a person grateful. I have this body because of my father and mother. And they had their body because of their father and mother. And they had their body because of their father and mother. So even this body we have is because of the generations in our family. They continued the family lineage. Therefore, we have this body. Therefore, I am having this facility, a vehicle to practice Krishna consciousness. So what happens if we neglect our Pitrina? We'll just try to briefly understand, and then we'll try to summarize that, striking the balance. We'll not miss that part, because we don't want people to be, or devotees especially, to become, too much infatuated with this karma kandya mentality. At the same time, we shouldn't be neglectful. That's the whole idea. So let's try to understand what are the consequences if people neglect Pitri Rin. So, Pitris, for example, you see in this world, this concept of family is so infatuating. The soul is Satchidananda, is pure. It has actually nothing to do with this material body. But in whichever body we are, we actually become so infatuated with the family conception. Oh, this is my husband. Oh, she's my wife. These are my children. These are my parents. These are my brother, sister. We become so infatuated with this family consciousness. And that continues even after death. So people who have passed away in our family, they also have some affinity for this particular, especially if they are living in the higher realms or lower realms, they have affinity to the family. So, for example, Pitraloka. Pitraloka is nothing but the place of Pitris. The Pitris are generally translated as forefathers. So every family's forefathers, some of the forefathers are in Pitraloka. And these demigods, these are sub-demigods actually, the category of Pitris, they have one function. They have one function to bring the blessings of our ancestors to our life. Blessings, they bring the blessings. Okay, so how they bring the blessings? The blessings come in the form of, prosperity and absence of difficulties in our families. Say, for example, if in a particular family you find a peculiar difficulty which is being experienced by generations after generation, they're actually experiencing that difficulty. Now, say, for example, I'm wearing the specs. Wearing the specs is not a regular thing, right? I shouldn't be needing specs. We have accepted like, oh well, the eyesight little weak, therefore we have to wear specs. But that's not something everybody else has to do, right? But the amazing thing is my father also had specs. And interesting thing is all my children also have specs. That means the weakness of eyesight is something running in our generation, in our family. This is, of course, a small difficulty, doesn't really hamper us so much. But this is a typical, we can say, example of family having no blessings in a particular aspect. We are not fulfilling certain duties to our Pitri. Therefore, this difficulty runs in generation. But in some families, you'll find they have severe difficulties running in generations. Like, say, for example, nobody in the family is able to flourish in spite of having high education and having every effort put. They're not able to even have a basic comfortable life. They struggle a lot. I've seen people like that. The father struggled, the grandfather struggled, and the children struggle. They even don't have basic necessities of life. Or in some families, you'll find generations after generation, they meet with accidents. Father died in the accident, the son died in the accident, the grandson died in the accident. They all die in accidents only. So this is a typical example of what we call in our Vedic terminology as Pitradosh, or you can say the curse of Pitris. So how does it really work? So to give a brief understanding, especially the ancestors, not every ancestor in our family goes to the heaven or go to Pitraloka. Some go to heaven, some go to hell also. because of their activity, because of their karma. Now, what happens to some of the ancestors who end up in hell? Shukdev Goswami gives brief description of hell in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but other Puranas give detailed descriptions also. So hellish planets are nothing but the places of tormenting and giving continuous suffering to living entities for their karma. First of all, there are no kitchens there to cook any food for anyone. So nobody gets any food. You may think that, okay, then in hell they might be given some break to have meal. No, no meals are provided anywhere. There are no kitchens. There are no restaurants. There's not even provision of drinking water in the hell. Now just imagine with the physical body, we have a body, it has needs, it needs food, it needs water. Just imagine if I don't drink water for one day on the Nirjala Ekadashi. It is so much inconvenience, right? But just imagine you don't get to drink water days, after months, after years, you don't get any water. And continuous tormenting and suffering continues, and nobody dies. They don't even die. The body is designed in such a way in the hell that you continue to suffer, but you don't die. So there's no food, there's no water. Okay. But there is a provision in the hell. If anyone in the family of those people who live in the hell offers them shraddha, like shraddha, food is offered, or offers them tarpan, offering water, with sesame seeds, or even offering just plain water to them, the Yamdutas stop tormenting them. Tell them, okay, here is the water being offered by your descendants in your family. So take a break and drink a little bit of water. Now just imagine what a relief for the person in the hellish planet. If you offer shraddha, you offer nice meal, rice, dal, and some sweets and everything with sesame and water. The person's torture is stopped and he gets to eat something. For days and months, they don't get to eat anything. And here, somebody in their family has offered some food. So what happens? They give blessings from the core of their heart. May my descendants in the family, because they are taking care of us, even if we are living in hell, they're taking care of us, bless them, to have prosperity and everything that is needed for their success in life. On the other hand, what happens if people don't offer that? They are living in the hell. They may be responsible themselves. They never trained their children for offering shraddha and pitra and tarpan and everything. So they themselves are responsible, but they still curse their descendants. Oh, this rascal in my family, he's not even offering me a little bit of water. May his wife, may his children suffer. May he break his leg in the accident. So you see, in the generations after generation, if similar troubles are coming in the family, that means that family is being cursed by such descendants in the family. It has formed a pitra dosh. So somebody may say, well, I'm practicing Krishna consciousness. Shouldn't it take care of it? Yes, Krishna consciousness does take care of everything. But to the degree, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yathamam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajami. To the degree one surrenders to Krishna, to that degree, Krishna reciprocates. So if you are fully surrendered, gato mukundam parihritya kartam, giving up all the duties, you are simply focusing on Krishna. And yes, Krishna takes care of everything. So say, for example, this is Pitrapaksh. A person who is fully Krishna conscious meditates on Krishna. Krishna is a Pitra Swarupi Janardana. The Janardana, Krishna, he is actually my real Pitra. And I will fulfill my duties. I'll offer tarpan, everything to my Pitri, Krishna. Then yes, Krishna will take care of that. But if a person is not even conscious of that, then he must fulfill his duties to all these different living entities. And it's not that, we actually, all the 15 days in Pitra Paksha, we simply meditate and worship Pitris, nothing like that. Just imagine offering little bit of food and water to your ancestors, especially those who are living in hell. Get relief. And they actually invoke blessing on the family. So there's nothing wrong if somebody goes a little out of way and does a little bit to express their gratitude. I'm grateful to you, even though you may be in heaven or in the hell, but I'm grateful to you. Here is a token of uh, respect from my side. And especially for devotees, it's an opportunity to deliver their ancestors. Because devotees, when they offer Shraddha, they first offer the food to Krishna, their home deities. And that food is offered as prasad of Krishna to the ancestors with it. So just imagine somebody living in the hell gets Krishna prasad. The deity's Mahaprasad he receives. Can you imagine what will happen to that person? Immediate relief from the hellish condition. That person will be immediately relieved from the hell because he got to eat Krishna prasad. So offering little bit water, sesame water, or offering little food to the ancestors actually brings a lot of support from them in the form of blessings to smoothen our life so that we can focus on Krishna consciousness. So it is actually advisable that devotees also do adopt that practice of expressing their gratitude. But we should also remember, ultimately, Krishna is our Pitri. If we are getting too much dragged into, the Pitri consciousness or, becoming too much conscious of, their contribution in our life and forget Krishna's contribution in our life, that will be the calamity, the greatest failure of our human life. You will become ultimately ungrateful. So it is a duty of especially the Vaishnavas practicing sadhakas to be grateful and try to fulfill their duties in Krishna conscious way. We express our gratitude to Devas by offering tarpan every day, little bit offering water. We are grateful to all of you. We offer little bit of water to the rishis, Deva, Rishi, and Pitris. We offer every day a little bit, a palmful of water only. Tarpan process just takes practically 30 seconds. 30 seconds only. Just offer a palmful of water to all of them with certain mantras, expressing our gratitude to them. And that invokes amazing blessings by all of them. So, and of course, at some point of time, when a devotee is becoming so much absorbed in Krishna that is not even conscious of anything day and night, that time those activities automatically cease. Because, like Madhavapuri says, Sandhya Vandan Bhadramastu Bhavato Ghosnanatubhyam Namo. So, he says, my dear 3 sandhyas, my dear 3 times of bathing, I offer you my obeisances. Because I am not able to fulfill my duties of chanting 3 times Gayatri, taking bath 3 times, doing Sandhya Vandan. I'm not able to do any of those things. Why? Because I'm able to remember Krishna 24/7. Therefore, I'm not able to perform any of my duties. If we are on that platform where we are able to constantly remember Krishna 24/7, we are simply saturated with Krishna, those activities automatically will cease to exist. Nobody has to actually tell us. But that happens organically, it happens naturally. Not that we try to avoid those duties and then we are watching television. That is ungrateful attitude. So this is the way a devotee actually develops more and more broader vision and gratitude and imbibes immense blessings. Know one thing for sure, to go back home, back to Godhead, is not such an easy thing. In fact, the demigods and all the, people who are in charge of universal administration, they block the person's progress to the spiritual world if he's unworthy. If the person is not possessing all the virtues of the demigods, not developing the basic qualities of a devotee, that person is not allowed to promote to the spiritual world until unless Krishna intervenes personally. Like in the case of Putana, she had not developed any of those gratitude. Krishna simply killed her and cleared all her contamination and took her back home, back to Godhead. But for ordinary living entities, the demigods do block their progress to the spiritual world if they have not developed those virtues. So sadhaka, practicing devotee, is supposed to develop all those virtues. One of them is to be grateful, to have gratitude that actually I'm indebted to so many things. And from the core of the heart, express the gratitude. So this Pitra Paksha is nothing but a time of expressing our gratitude to our ancestors. So I think the best way we express our gratitude on daily basis is by chanting Hare Krishna, of course, because chanting Hare Krishna is expressing our gratitude to our original Pitri. Our Pitras will be Janardhan, or Krishna, who is actually our original Pitri, who is our original father or grandfather, or great grandfather. He is the original Pitri for all of us. So we must continue our practice of Krishna consciousness, and hand by hand we can also fulfill other obligations till the time they become hindrance in our Krishna consciousness. Then we can abandon those. So this is the way of striking balance, that we perform our spiritual duties and we also perform our material duties. Just like we perform our duties in our workplace, we deliver whatever is expected out of us. Similarly, we deliver what is expected out of us in terms of these 5 rinas, or the 5 or 6 rinas which are mentioned in this particular verse discussing today. But the best way, even if one is not able to find help and fulfill other duties, if one simply continues to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna provides wisdom and provides resources to fulfill the other obligations as well. So under all circumstances, we must continue to chant Hare Krishna, and Krishna will take care and give us necessary wisdom and resources to fulfill our other obligations as well. So thank you very much. With this, we'll stop here. If anyone has any questions, you may ask.
Thank you so much, Shankaran Prabhuji. So wonderfully explained about our gratitude and and our gratefulness towards our grandfathers and great grandfathers, how we should be, more specifically in this Pitra Paksha time period. And thank you so much. Thank you, Shankaran Prabhuji. I'd like to request any devotees have any questions. Looks like Surananda Madhav Prabhuji has a question. Please unmute.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Not a question, Prabhuji, but really this session was so wonderful, and especially under Pitru Paksha time. Just want to add a thing, Prabhuji, as what you said, the demigods do not allow the devotees to go to Krishna. Even Indra do not allow him to take his own position. How do Indra allow us to go further beyond Indra's position? That's what my point. And then you were talking about the family tree. When you told that, I really wondered that even my son doesn't know, even his grandfathers know. Talking about grandfathers, father, but even my son doesn't know grandfathers, and he will even struggle to answer that one. Wonderful session, Prabhu. Thank you. Thanks a lot for giving this wonderful session, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So, Prabhu, I'll just make a clarification here. When we talk about the demigods, right? Like, say, for example, Indra. Know for sure that Indra gets to see the Lord from time to time. Whenever Indra is offering worship to Lord Vishnu personally is present in front of him, not in the form of deity, but he's personally present as Vamandev in front of him. Okay, so he gets to see the Lord. He has access to the Lord. Okay, the demigods are not ordinary people. Okay, no, for sure, they're not ordinary people. They have access to the Lord. They don't have access to the spiritual world yet. They're doing their devotional service to the Lord, but they do. This explained that when Indra retires, for example, Indra, Agni, all these demigods, when they retire to Brahma Loka, and they start living with Brahma as his associates. So, like a living entity serves as Indra for one Manvantara. So after one Manvantara, he goes to the Brahma Loka and lives there as a retired person. Just engage in devotional service to Lord Brahma. And when Brahma dies, after the Dviprarabdha, the two half of Brahma's lifespan, then Brahma takes all of them back home, back to Godhead. But there is a description in Srimad Bhagavatam where Indra is telling Bali Maharaj that anyone who tries to ascend to the heavenly planets or going to the spiritual world and is not qualified, I use my thunderbolt to cast that person to the lower regions of the universe. So even if somebody thinks that, oh, I am qualified, I can go to the spiritual world, that mentality is actually the cause of one's being cast into the hellish planets. The Indra and demigods actually push him down to the hellish planets.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Really. So if no more questions, then we can stop here, Prabhu.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.